Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome. We're live. Awesome.
Oh, God.
Wow.
All right. Well, welcome, everyone, to our very first live stream together for this campaign. I'm going to be your genre moderator, Ryan Boelter, and we're going to be doing a session 0 for a campaign using Chimera RPG, a powered by the Apocalypse game that I have been developing with Amar Amaraz for the past few years. Now, the whole concept of Chimera is that we will be blending multiple genres together to create a world, and then blend character archetypes together to create our characters. And kind of see what that makes. For this campaign, we've decided ahead of time to include all 3 of the genres we've been planning to include in the base game: fantasy, magical girls, and superheroes. But before we get into more about this game and our session 0 proper, let's start with introductions. I can start, and then we can just go around clockwise as per the layout in OBS. So again, my name is Ryan Boelter. I'm a co-host on the Character Creation Cast podcast, where we create characters for many different role-playing games with guests across the industry and the RPG community. And we do that to introduce more cool games to people out there. So listen to that if you have some time, because it is quite delightful, I think. I'm also the game designer of Chimera, or one of the game designers of Chimera, as mentioned before, and a sound designer of A Horror Borealis, which some people here may know. That is a Monster of the Week podcast that explores some really great inclusive stories. And speaking of A Horror Borealis, by coincidence, every single person on this cast here is actually part of the AHB community in some way, shape, or form. So let's go ahead. Clockwise on my radar says JV. How about we go with you for next?
Hi, everyone. Sounds good. Hello, everyone. I'm JV Hampton Van Sant. My pronouns are they, them, which is clearly listed on this screen right there. Right there. Y'all can see it. I am a voice actor and podcaster, and apparently also professional tarot reader now, so there's that. And I yes, I am Mongoose on A Horror Borealis 76.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Right.
That's it.
And I think
remember the character name for a second.
If this works, I've got little things that Nightbot will do if I actually turn it on, right?
Ooh.
So I'm going to have it join the channel. And now I can actually do that command, right? Wake up, Nightbot. I agree. Wake up, Nightbot.
Wake me up.
Rise and shine.
Let's see what happens. Hey.
Oh, there we go. Hey.
Hey.
There you go.
Hey, there it is.
There it is.
I don't know if... yeah. All right.
Welcome, Nightbot.
Cool. Thanks, JV. Let's go with Thae next, please.
Hello, I am Thae. I am a variety streamer here on Twitch, and I love all things horror. As far as RPGs, I have played every edition of D&D except for 5th, which is interesting, and a bit of World of Darkness, bit all over the place. So yeah. Oh, pronouns are she, her. Goodness, I keep forgetting that. Next.
That's all right. Okay. Morgan, how about yourself?
I am Morgan. My pronouns are they, them, and she, her interchangeably. You can find me on the Twitters at Serena Bezos. You can find me in all. I mean, I'm just follow me on Twitter. I do a lot, and on the Roleplay Network for podcasting, on Huetopia TV for live streaming actual plays. I've done some writing. Yeah, I like games. Don't hate me.
That pretty much
Whatever.
sums it up, right?
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Memento, please.
Hi, I'm Memento. I am a queer multimedia artist. I use Instagram for that stuff. My pronouns are they, them. And yeah, that's really all I'm up to right now.
All right. Very cool. And last but not least, Alyzona.
I am Alyzona, or Steph, as you can see, they, them. I don't really do all that much, as I have no ability to finish a project. One day I'll do something, hopefully. And yeah, have been playing a lot of RPGs for a few years now. Especially more recently, because if I can't go outside and have a life, I might as well just live a better one. Somewhere in a fantasy world, you know?
That's fine.
Yeah, and I'm just a big Horror Borealis fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whomst amongst us.
Right.
Only fools.
Mhm.
So we've got some voice actor from the Horror Borealis side stories. Morgan, you played
yeah,
you
it's
played a
me.
character.
I played Big Millie, y'all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Big Millie.
And then JV, you make an appearance on the AHB 76 podcast, mini-sodes, I guess, or mini campaign.
Yeah. Doing the sort of the, I guess, little side campaign set in 1976. Hence the 76 in the
Playing
title
kids
there.
on bikes, which is such a
Yeah.
good. I love that game.
I
So good.
have grown to love it. I knew nothing about it, and I absolutely love it, and it makes me so happy, and it's so fun.
And then Alyzona, Memento, and Thae are big fans of the show, and I know them through the Discord server for AHB. And it's a delight to have you all here, and I can say that absolutely sincerely. I forgot to put my name out there.
There you go.
So there you go.
Updated and corrected. There it is.
Yeah. So welcome everybody. I think that's good for introductions for now, but how about we introduce our world, as in, should we start building a world?
I'm so excited.
Yes.
All right. So in Chimera, and for those at home, I'll share a little behind the scenes teaser for the character sheets. Let me go ahead and transition to that page.
I think we got muted. Can't hear. No? Or is it just you, maybe? Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Thae is now the
Just to
GM.
me. Oh no. Please no, I can't.
Oh, no.
Can hear now.
Okay. Yeah. Oh,
Awesome.
Everyone but Ryan.
Everyone but Ryan. Oh no.
Ryan, what'd you do?
Oh no.
Oh,
that's
What?
strange. I could hear him perfectly fine.
I know. We can,
no, I can hear
we
him
can
fine.
hear you just fine.
Oh.
Oh
Gorgeous.
no.
Okay,
No,
got it.
Ryan.
Well, there it
Oh
is.
heck.
You know what? It's our first time
I
streaming.
wish Ryan was here. Ryan.
Oh goodness.
Oh, enjoyable.
Yeah, I don't
Uh-oh.
think so.
Let me pop the. I had to hit the transition button.
Someone ask and
Oh,
answer the
God.
question.
There
what
we
question
go.
are we asking and answering? Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go. That was the question.
Okay,
All right, cool.
Question.
there we go.
No, we don't have to worry about it.
A little bit of a technical snafu on our first stream ever. I've never done this with more than 2 people, so.
Honestly, from what streams I've watched, if there isn't at least one technical difficulty at the start, it's not a real stream.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah,
very
exactly.
fair.
Always
thing
gonna be
to
glitches
say.
in the system somehow or another.
Exactly.
We are a real stream now.
All right. So now that we're a real stream, I am going to go here and re-say what I said. So now we are going to be selecting genres. Okay. Well, we already selected our genres. We did that ahead of time. We're doing fantasy, magical girls, and superheroes. And by selecting these genres, we've unlocked a bunch of genre world tropes that we're going to select in order to build our world. So we've got access to 30 world tropes right now that we can choose from between all 3 of the genres. And we have 8 tropes we need to fill out. So if people have thoughts of what they would want to have, we can start saying things and collaborating. But for the folks at home that haven't seen Chimera yet, like some of the tropes for fantasy are like monsters roam the world. That can be interpreted as you go out into the forest and wow, there's all these random monsters out there. It could be very Final Fantasy-esque.
It's an owlbear.
Yeah, it's an owlbear. Or wow, it's another goblin that I have to fight for 400 times before I level up.
At that point, you start just befriending the goblins, and then you end up with a goblin army. That's the true stats.
Exactly.
That's the true strats, you know.
Dragons have already done this.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then it goes like, got guilds and secret societies are abundant. And so on. Magical girl world tropes kind of gets into those magical girl tropes of like one main villain with unlimited themed henchmen. Like secret legacy and myth is important. Harmless villains, quote unquote, where they try to avoid killing. That's like your standard Sailor Moon. I'm going to drain your energy, but just leave you all nice and weak, and then I'm going to go away, of course. That sort of stuff. And then superheroes, like supervillains are a fairly normal thing. Vigilantism is illegal, and so on and so forth. So there's a lot to choose from. Who has like an idea for a trope that they want to have, looking at this list, that they think, I really want to play with this trope?
Oh goodness.
Can start with anybody. I mean, I know there's a lot to choose from.
Yeah, I like how we're just all quietly waiting for someone
His
else.
nose goes, not it.
Any takers?
Don't make me get out the clockwise rotation.
No.
That.
All right.
So nervous.
Well, the one that when I read it made me giggle a lot is one main villain with unlimited themed henchmen. It makes me smile. I just have no idea what, like, the
Oh, I like that.
like what that fully would look like, which is part of the fun of that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I know what that looks like because
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much
um,
think Sailor Moon and yeah, or Power Rangers or
Mhm.
whatever have you.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you can pull from there.
Kind
So yeah, go for it.
kind of bouncing off that, I kind of like the superhero and villain organizations, just because I think in like a villain
Ooh.
organization where it's like, these are my minions, they all dress the same, they all look alike for a reason.
Okay.
I love that.
I like that.
Team Rocket shenanigans up in here.
Uh-huh. All right, who's got something else?
Oh, Team Rocket. Love to hate
I
ya.
absolutely love the harmless villain trope. I think it's so funny. It's so funny.
Let's do it.
Very cool. Harmless villains try to avoid killing. I'm very into that. Okay. What else we got?
I'm always a big fan of magic and technology getting kind of
Integrated?
together. Because you can do some really
yes.
interesting stuff with that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who doesn't want to merge the two, that's cowards. Anyone who doesn't want to merge
Truly.
the two is a coward, and I am referring to one particular turf as being the coward. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Correct indeed.
merge it.
Merge it.
No need for names. We're good.
Merge it.
All right.
Legacy and myth are very important. Could be fun.
Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Ooh, so we've got 5 so far, so we've got 3 to go. I think I want to hold off selecting mine until we let's come up with 2 together, and then I'll just throw one for myself into the mix and just laugh maniacally in the background.
Like it. I like that as a thing. Maniacal laughter is always fun.
So do we want to lean more towards a certain genre or set of genres at all? So we could kind of skew our selections into those buckets if we wanted.
I mean, we were thinking of going on a slightly more magical girl theme than, like, that was sort of the primary wanting to start. So if we put a couple more into that bucket, that might not be a bad idea.
Okay.
It just means I have less to choose from. I'm very indecisive.
If we're
Very
taking
fair.
I sympathize with that.
thoughts from the chat, there's one that's like, I want to see costumes that are extravagant and identifiable.
That is
Honestly,
very fun.
I live for
Yes.
that one, so yes. Yes,
It does
correct.
it does merge very nicely with the henchmen with all like a single identifying feature.
Yeah, I do like that a lot. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah, I love it. Okay. So now
Let's
we've
do
got
it.
2 from each, 2 left.
2 left.
All right.
Oh, on the back. Okay, hold on.
You could do villains fight amongst themselves almost as much as they do the heroes, which is
Oh, yes.
always just kind of fun.
That is a fun one.
Just seeing the drama between them and how, like, oh, I gotta work with you again. Like, oh.
And
I'm getting very like the flying circus family from Sailor Moon. I don't remember which season it is, but there's like this
Where
Where it's like-
even the first season where
yes, with
where
Queen
the
Beryl and all that.
yeah, the Queen Beryl, all the generals of Queen Beryl were like, no, I'm gonna get this. No, I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get it first too.
I would
I don't
like
know why
to
I
note
took
in,
20s Gainster there, but
I would like to note in the spreadsheet that you clicked the one underneath that one.
Yeah.
oh, did I?
Yes, I just wanted to point that out.
Yes.
But
Thank
I
you.
also really like that one, so I don't know.
Oh, so it's my surprise one that I can choose now.
Mhm.
yeah,
So actually, that one's not bad. I was thinking between, I mean, okay. So I was thinking between that one, maybe like your team once lost a teammate to your greatest enemy, would introduce a lot of juicy role play later on. But there's too many good selections here. What's going on?
Oh, I
kind
really like the fantastical creatures have complex and diverse personalities.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Our
very
villain's a
good one.
dragon.
The true
Okay, I like
solution
that.
to
That's
everything is just to talk to all of it, and then just say, "Hey, can you just like not?"
Not.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Okay. You know what? I think that's fine. I think we are leaning with mostly fantasy and magical girls, 3 in each, and 2 in superheroes. So let's go back to the world building tab, where our selections are filled out here. So yep, that's all of them. So now
heck yeah.
we selected our tropes. So now we get to the fun questions. We are going to actually build the world now.
Oh goodness.
The first question: what is the shape of this world? Now this is time for full collaboration, and no idea is a bad idea. I would suggest avoiding sky archipelagos because that's what the Cape and Blade stream is doing. But if you want to do that, we can work with it.
My brain immediately what it said, I can't stop laughing. Is, well, the shape of this planet is strangely trapezoidal, which is not. I don't know that that's the correct answer to this question. It is just where my brain went, but I don't know. That's
Don't worry,
just
my brain
that.
went football for the first time I thought about it, so I had to.
See, mine just went the cat going, "It's a loop. Give me the loop, brother." So yeah, that's where my creative energy is at.
So do you want a trapezoidal world, or I mean,
I personally don't. I like when gravity works in a meaningful way.
it's good when we can wrap our heads around the place that we're going to be playing on. I would agree with that.
Yeah, I am having to just look up quickly what a trapezoidal is.
No Mobius strip worlds, please.
Yeah.
Oh dear God. Yeah, let's not.
That could be really cool, but
Yeah.
This looks horrifying.
I mean, you could go
Maybe.
full Dyson sphere, right?
Oh, you could, but should we?
No, So I'm wondering, what do we want the world to be kind of like? Do we want like this world to be like a regular world that has cool stuff on it? Do we want it to be like continents? Do we want it to be islands, a water world, a world where we're underwater? Gosh, it literally can be anything. If you want to go like more traditional fantasy, we could just do, continents and keep it simple. We don't have to go weird. It's not a prerequisite of the game to make your world super strange and unknowable.
For sure. I like I like a blend of those two things, though, of there being something weird, but also being generally like something recognizable, but when you get a little close to it, something does look a little bit weird.
Okay.
Like it's a big city, but like all the buildings are made of plants or something. Like,
oh, I actually live for that. So
see when you said normal, but like off a bit, my brain went to, why not the opposite? Why not the ocean in the sky and the land beneath the ocean? And there's like an air gap.
Ooh.
I don't know.
I like that.
I could work.
This is
I could do like
interesting.
Or like Star Wars, where there's whole planets that are an entire city, or like
Yeah.
Halo. I thought
Mhm.
Halo was always cool. Like I never got into the Halo series at all. I'm not interested.
loop.
But the cool thing is that it's exactly. That's a loop.
Yeah.
I always thought that was very cool.
Always comes back to the loop.
This isn't Tales from the Loop. This is.
It could be.
So we're gonna set the 1980s. We're a bunch of kids and go.
All right, 1980s.
No, I'm joking. Don't take my word for this.
1985.
Oh no.
That's a whole different flavor of thing that I wasn't anticipating. Yeah. Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
The shape of the world.
I do like the idea of like a big city planet in a way, just because we are sort of doing like magical girl esque, or maybe like big cities like throughout the planet, just like big hubs of connections.
Something else that might be cool is like an Aeon Flux, where there's like a super modern city, and then outside of the walls it's like very wildernessy.
Ooh.
But like more city than wilderness, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that. I like that a lot. Particularly because that also makes it a little bit easier for fantastical creatures to be around.
Yeah.
Like for them to have come from somewhere and sort of exist. I don't know. Nature and things, and then creatures just adds up to me.
I was gonna say, because it does make a little bit more sense in terms of placement of everything. If you just have these big metropolitan areas of magic tech, and then just trees.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. So the cities are kind of the hubs of technology in this world, which is very interesting. Because then we go into the next question. What is the typical technology level of this world? Now, we've already established magitech, whatever we want to call that.
Magitech sounds fun, actually, but
yes, I love that.
there is a single company, and it is named.
Is it like Apple? It's called Magitech.
Oh,
gosh. Final boss.
Final boss.
Right.
Taking it
Down
out.
capitalism.
We don't really like them, but they do exist, and we
have to use it.
them on occasion.
All right, so Magitech Incorporated.
This is purely Amazon.
Oh, that's perfect because we're on Twitch too. Oh my god.
Oh goodness. Okay. So we've got Magitech. That makes sense. So what does that kind of look like? What sort of what does the technology kind of look like? Is it like normal D&D fantasy-esque technology magicked up, or is it like modern-ish technology level, or is it like future-ish or futureful, I guess, technology level?
I'm gonna need a second on that one. That's a big choice.
We thought the tech level is just like a decade behind what's currently happening, so it's this weird, it's a random idea, but weird mix of things that are like, in some places the tech is like a decade behind, so it's weird and very clunky, but at the same time we have, with the magic sort of helping to sort of come in and actually make some of it very futuristic, like phones are still weird and clunky, but we can teleport around the city. And so it's just like, just go and get a teleport. Phones are too clunky. I can't find any
I just got an idea of like, I'm showing my age here. Do y'all remember sidekicks from like back in the day?
Oh,
mid 2000s.
Possibly?
It sounds extremely familiar.
So basically, it almost like you hold it like a switch, like in your hands and stuff, but you flip it around so you have a full keyboard.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
yes.
Oh my
Yes.
God. That
Yes.
took me way
I thought
too
you were
long
talking
to
about
remember.
a TV
Yeah.
show rather than an item.
Yeah,
and
that's
was
what I
like,
was
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was like, TV shows. That does sound familiar.
I remember those. I had one. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
so
I
like
also had
maybe it's
one.
like something like that, where it's like that big thing, but also has like a holograph coming off of it, maybe, or like
Oh,
Ooh.
absolutely yes.
I live.
Or it's
That's,
like a
that's
Nokia.
wonderful.
oh, like a big Nokia.
But it
And
does have like
like-
holograph technology.
yeah, like
So
it
you do
drops
have
out.
to tap the A key. You do have to tap the 1 key 3 times to get a C, but you do get really good holograms.
So they just got like kind of lazy on the design and just said just throw some magic at it. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I mean,
Maybe they haven't figured out how to like condense the magic, so that's why they're big old bulky boys. Like,
Yeah.
Ooh. So is the magic in these devices held in something?
magic technology chips.
So you need some sort of like Magitech chip to power or infuse with a spell or whatever these devices. I think that sounds pretty cool.
Mhm.
Which
So
which
is
opens us up to some fun
go ahead.
shenanigans of hey,
Yes.
just remove the chip of that thing and it won't work anymore.
Hey.
magicians are all
Are they
computer
just-
programmers with no design sense.
And you're constantly running around trying to find a AA chip and you can't find one. It's just anyway.
Yep.
We've only got AAA chips.
We just invented magic batteries.
Oh,
So
gracious.
Honestly, I
Right. It's so funny.
fully
Oh my God.
fully yesterday I had an issue where I like needed batteries and could not find 2 of them. I found
No doubt.
one in like several places, but yet like not the same kind, and I don't know. It was bothering me anyway.
You're like, why is there only one AA left?
Yeah.
I always take them out in twos.
that's when you contact Magitech Incorporated on
No,
your
I don't
Magitech
know.
tablet, and you can press
No.
the
Please, no.
fast deliver button where they teleport the object to you.
Glove.
Do we have touchscreens? Have we figured that out yet?
Is it?
Is
Maybe
that like
touch
in the next
holograms.
phase that they're
No.
working on?
I think interactive
Touchscreen
holograms.
specifically, I think no. Interactive holograms, yes.
Yeah, so we don't
No,
know how to
that
touch a
was-
screen and make it work, but in Magic Hologram we can manipulate and have like a holographic interface of sorts. I'm fine with that. All right.
Explaining in a good way.
All right.
I just want to make a whole bunch of jokes about like just not having the tech level to be able to do this.
We can't do physical stuff. Our technology is garbage. But man, you throw some magic on that. That thing sings.
Or it's like magic was subsidized by the government, so that went forward instead of the tech.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Hmm.
That would happen.
So we haven't invented the semiconductor yet, but you know,
Holograms.
the
mean,
magic
hey.
the Magitech battery thing can power our devices and do all the computations we need.
Mm-hmm.
Math.
You can't make
That's
2
called
phone
math.
calls through the same landline at the same time,
Yeah.
but the audio is just so crisp, and you can see their face.
The
love it.
the people that work on that are called math magitechicians.
Oh my God.
Come again,
I will
just
never
repeat
remember
that,
that
just
word.
so it sticks. Could you?
Math magitechicians.
Oof.
Yeah, welcome to my brain. Let's move on to the next question.
I have one last thought though,
Oh, yes.
which is what era of like Nintendo mobile things are we on?
yes.
The Nintendo VR headset that you had to be really close to.
Oo. Oh.
What was that called? What was that called?
Oh,
I
Remember that?
barely
It was all
remember
red,
that.
red and black.
yeah, it was so
No.
bad, and it gave people migraines if you stared at it for too
Well,
long.
it was like Virtual Boy or something like that.
Yeah, it was
Barely
Virtual
remember.
Boy.
Yeah, it was
Oh
so-
my God.
I want to say Virtual Boy level technology, just because we want to give everybody neck aches.
It was the Virtual Boy. I just
Have
have
you-
to look it up
if
because
Okay, for those
Wow.
that are not familiar with the Virtual Boy, check it out because Wow.
That was from 1995. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. That's honestly, that's way earlier than I thought that was going to be. But all
Yeah,
right.
they really they tried it so long ago, and it was such a failure because the technology was not ready.
No.
Oh no.
You had to like kneel down and put your eyes up to it and like squint at this red
That is so
screen.
cursed.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Everything is
no.
deeply cumbersome.
Yep.
All right. I like
Yikes on
it.
the
Oh,
bikes. Oh, I love
power
it. I'm
gloves?
loving it.
Please
The
tell me that
big
there are
clanky
gaming power
keyboards.
gloves.
Yes.
Oh yeah, power glove
Power gloves.
interfaces. Yep.
For
Oh
sure.
my god, I really want at least one of our characters to have as part of their like
Who-
outfit like
whoever's a
power
nerd,
glove.
whoever's a nerd or the tech person. Oh my god, we're gonna have our own math magician.
Math magitechnician. Yeah.
Yes, that way.
And you get to like pull it up and like run and just like according to my calculations.
Yeah, that's very Sailor Mercury. Like she had a little
Oh.
visor that had holograms in it, and like the
Oh,
Yeah,
Words.
that was actually what I was gonna mention is like the Sailor Moon level of tech is so good. I've been
Yep.
watching it recently, and I'm
I
like, this makes so little sense.
I
I,
know.
can't breathe, but I love it. I love it.
Yes.
That's amazing. All right. So keeping that technology level in mind, how easy is it to travel around this world, and what modes of transportation are readily available?
hoverboards that actually hover.
yeah.
But only
Because-
like just off the ground.
Yeah.
Like just enough to get rid of all that friction?
Yeah.
Is it like
Yeah.
like regular wheel level hovering? So like it works the exact same as regular like skateboards?
No.
Only you're hovering.
No wheels.
But you could go over
No
water too.
friction.
You go over water
Yeah.
and like small rocks, small ones.
I like that because I don't know about y'all, but when they announced the thing that was a hoverboard but it had wheels, I got deeply aggravated, which is the reason that got
Yes, that's
brought
not a
up first.
hoverboard.
I was like, that's not.
Yeah,
But
not
it's
the
on
thing that's
the-
like hoverboard.
It's just like a very small
Segway with extra
segue.
bits.
I know, right? Okay.
Call it a Segway.
So
Just
we'll-
call it a personal Segway.
It
So-
was a segue with dreams. Anyway.
So we're thinking more like Back to the Future level hoverboard tech, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, very much so.
Awesome.
I'm getting very Back to the Future, like alien universe type of vibes here.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
great. I love it.
What else do we got? So that sounds like personal transport, right?
Yeah.
What other sort of things? Any sort of intercity transport stuff
Hmm.
going
I
on?
suppose
Let's do public transportation. Come on.
Yeah, I like the idea of there being like really solid public transport.
That
I mean,
goes
you
like
need it.
straight to the wilderness and like to various like areas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Can it be a train? I really like
Yeah.
trains.
Okay.
It's a
Yeah.
It's a
bullet
hover
train.
train.
Yes,
Oh.
or
Like a
that
bullet
magnetic
train.
train. Yeah.
Hover
Yeah. So
train,
okay. So we've got hover trains. Do we have like
Those.
hover buses? Or
Huh.
just so you can have like some more like dense population transport instead of just a giant train.
Mm.
I like it.
Yeah.
So
I'm into
Trains
hover
between
buses.
cities, buses within them, and then hoverboards is like the personal thing.
Yeah,
Because
and
we're
maybe
getting some
maybe
chunks.
some of the bigger cities have like perimeter trains and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, that sounds very cool.
Are those the Tales from the Loop?
Maybe
Yes.
if we're telling a tale and we're on the loop.
I'm sorry, just had to bring it back.
I would like to put in that the trains that go around the edge of the city, they are called the loop. They are called
I'm
the
here
loop.
for it.
I
Very
will,
here
I will
for it.
force this into the last thing I do. You cannot stop me.
That's fine.
We've got it.
So we got trains between cities.
Mhm.
So we don't have much of a need for roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads, as they say, right?
Exactly.
Awesome.
No roads.
Maybe the buses have like their own like specific like lines, but they're not really roads per se. It's just like
Yeah.
it's like how like train tracks are a thing. These are like the bus.
Do the
They
buses
have better brakes.
since they are bigger? Do the buses hover above head level? And
Yeah.
then get to their stops and then lower down to let people on, or
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
because then we got public safety in mind with this public transportation, and I'm good with that.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'd imagine minus friction, it's very easy to get up a lot of speed very quickly, and you'd need some very good brakes.
Yeah.
It
Or
can also be if it's like a slightly raised line elevation type thing, where like wherever it stops, like there's a way to get down that isn't like the thing doesn't even have to come down. You
Yeah.
can still get out. Like maybe there is
Yeah.
still a platform of some kind.
I
Yeah, like a raised sort of platform, and it travels along.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you don't want to get hit by a bus, don't hop on there.
All second levels are like the train stops in a way.
Yeah, I really like the imagery of like those platforms. You have to walk up the stairs to get to those train platforms, but instead of trains, they're bus platforms. And then the buses just
bottom
go.
level, it's like shops and like just casual thoroughfare.
Yeah.
Moving around. I love this. I'm so
Okay.
hype.
Wonderful.
But maybe instead of like stairs up to the platform, it's another platform that goes up, so it's more accessible to wheelchairs and stuff.
Yeah.
You are correct.
Ooh.
That is
Ooh.
yes.
I love that.
Yes, indeed.
I like that a lot. Okay.
Mm.
So we're kind of
Yes.
bleeding into the next territory of what does the civilization, or what does the typical civilization look like in this world?
Wait, sorry, real quick. Going back to that,
Yeah.
what if instead of like wheelchairs, they're like hover chairs?
Yeah.
Cool.
So everything's hover. There's no wheels in this world, is what we're saying?
We never invented the wheel.
The
Nothing
wheel
touches
was
the ground.
never invented in this world.
Except for our feet.
Straight
Okay.
to the hover stuff.
I feel like we invented the wheel, but we also moved past the wheel like very
And we've
quickly.
forgotten.
Like, it's like we
forgot
We
the
were
we're
wheel.
like,
over it.
Do they?
We
These
understand
wheels.
circles,
Yeah.
but like
these
Like-
wheels are too
they're just
needy.
nice.
Like
These
we.
We want grass.
Oh my God.
You know?
I just had a thought. We run it like we're in the wilderness areas and we find a bike and we're like, what is this?
What the heck?
What is
What
this
is this?
strange
That'd be fun.
device?
Why does this hover
I like
bike have
that.
these like weird like things on it? We're supposed
It
to-
doesn't even hover. What? It just falls
What?
over.
Where's the place
How do
for
you
the
ride this?
Magitech battery?
Interesting, right?
All right.
Wait, you mean I have to move this on my own? Ugh,
What?
whatever.
Oh no.
And I have to balance it? What?
That's amazing. It's not self-balancing. This is horrible. Where's my holographic GPS? All right. So what does the typical civilization look like in this world then?
I like the idea of it being hyper diverse and very like eco-friendly kind of thing.
Okay.
Like lots of plants in the city,
Ooh, like green walls or like,
and lots of like living walls and green spaces.
oh yes, living walls, that's what they're called. My
I love
only
it.
thing is I just want it to be humanoids because once I get past that, it gets kind of gray because people
Yep.
get like, "Meh," and it's just like,
Well, we'll get to that
Yeah.
question next. So,
okay.
yeah, let's think about the actual just cityscapes and wilderness-scapes and stuff like that. So,
Are we talking local government here? Because I don't have a thought as far as that's concerned. I don't know what that looks like in a world that's slightly perfect in every other regard, as far as I'm concerned.
there's got to be some darkness there somewhere, right?
There's a
Magic.
lot of government corruption. It just exists, but well,
Ooh.
Maybe instead of like it's like a leader, it's like a board of leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yeah, because it would be really hard because the cities, while you can get through with trains, like each of the cities would be fairly like isolated in their own kind of like little sort of pocket microcultures.
Mm-hmm.
So could be very easy for, even if there is like a board, for like individual people in these areas to kind of like sort of semi-run their own little like area, and they all kind of, it varies as to how which one of them have the shitty people on top and which one got lucky with some better people.
Hmm.
I like that.
Okay.
That'll work.
So it sounds like well, I'll just put that into the last question. I love when my players dive into the future questions on previous questions. It's nice. So we've got big cities, lots of green, living walls, that sort of thing. Appreciable space between cities, are we thinking? In
Like, I like the idea of microcultures, but also like that reminds me a little too much of there's this book, the Uglies series, and that just is like really close together. Did anyone else read that?
Mm-mm.
So it was a bunch of micro utopias, and most of the younger people didn't know that there were other cities and stuff. So I want to make sure that it's not like that kind of isolated.
Right. Like
Oh no.
I think there's like interconnectivity between the cities easily.
And
Oh,
like they
yeah.
can travel, but it's going to take, like, I like them traveling, but it still will take a little bit of time.
Yeah.
But if we're going like bullet trains, you could actually space the cities out quite a lot, and with the speed at which they travel, you would still get there within a reasonable space of time. Just physically kind of distant, but with communications between them, and it's more just that, like, since not everyone's going to be traveling around constantly, you're just going to end up with like particular things happening within each.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do sort of have a general question though. Are these cities walled in? Like just sort of generally like the barrier between there and nature, are there like tiny suburbs on the outskirts, or is there a wall that people like have to go over to just sort of prevent, I don't know, a giant sea lion looking like creature just sort of hopping on into and like messing up people's
Right.
day.
So
Not because they're in traffic, but just because just because they're around and distracting people. I don't know.
I mean, it makes sense. If you have a wall, there's something you need to protect either the people on the inside from or the people on the outside from, or the things on the outside from. It could be a like nature conservation sort of measure where stay within the walls, follow the trains, or take the trains between cities, and let's let the rest of the planet do its thing.
Well, if we do have like intelligent, like magical creatures, we probably would have made like agreements with them to be all like, we're just gonna have our little areas, but we don't want to encroach on yours because we understand that this is important stuff for you. So it's like, maybe there isn't 100% a specific wall, but there is very much a like, don't go and wreck their shit. That's their home.
I like this because it does add a little avenue for like reckless I don't know, I'm going with reckless teenagers, just it's in my brain, it's fine. I'm in a college, I can't help but think of reckless teenagers.
Heck yeah.
Right. So reckless teenagers that like just want to do something extra and wild, and what they wind up doing is going into those areas. It's not fully dangerous, but like it's ill-advised.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing too, because we've got probably the more traditional humanoid societies, if we're sticking with that, and then these fantastical creatures that may or may not be part of society, right? And we can kind of decide on that in the next question, but I would imagine that there's probably societies that are mostly these fantastical creatures, or maybe a dragon and its family is counted as a
like
society.
the dragons next door.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Awesome.
there's a lot of good possibilities with this, and I think we can kind of think about things a little bit as we go. But I think that sets up a lot of good possibilities there. So then the next question is, who populates this world? Typical humans, something else, a mix of multiple ancestries, and what do they typically look like?
I don't just want just humans because
Right.
just humans is boring.
Yes.
Yeah, gotta have a little bit extra.
I like having a lot of diversity if we want to go that route. We've got the fantasy genre.
I do like the mix of multiple ancestries since most of the creatures are sentient.
Sort of getting into fun, kind of like humanoid, semi sort of mixes and stuff, and like sort of all gathering together in these big weird conglomerates of diversity.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
So there's probably like humanoids, probably bipedal and quadrupedal humanoids, I'm guessing. And we can figure out what everybody kind of looks like as we go too, but it sounds like we're pulling a lot from the fantastical intelligent creatures and putting that into a lot of it. Is there like traditional elves, traditional humans, traditional D&D type ancestries, or just something different? Are we talking like Star Trek level of aliens where everybody's quote unquote humanoid with a weird prosthetic on their face, or
Kind of like that one.
I kind of do too. Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
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 Yes, I'm totally an alien. You can see by the little bits of eyeshadow I have placed on my cheeks.
Yep.
Mhm.
I've got
An alien.
3 nose
Hello.
ridges, not 4. Excuse me.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
ears are slightly pointed, and I have a dumb haircut.
Mhm.
Alien.
I have these things that look like gills, but other than that, same shape.
I have some ornamental gills. Ugh. Never thought about it and made myself
Oh, that
uncomfortable.
does freak me out just a little bit, but that's fine.
Oh, I have air gills.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Lungs.
What have I done?
that is just lungs. But you don't have to breathe out of your mouth. You breathe out of your neck, I guess.
Just, yeah,
I
it's
don't
just
know.
Oh my
lungs
God.
in weird places.
I don't like that. Oh my God.
We can probably X that if we want. We are using safety tools, so
That's true.
if we don't want to talk about air gills,
No, it's okay. I'm just gonna make the face.
that's fine.
It's just gonna make me question science, but that's fine.
Science, where we're going, we don't need science.
It's good.
We have magic.
No
We got
roads.
magic.
No science.
Yeah.
No
All right.
wheels.
like it.
So we also have a multiple fantastical creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Creatures to be determined. Because we can make stuff up as we go.
What?
It's not canon until it's canon. So,
Yeah.
welcome.
Isn't there
Canon,
Forest
baby.
Guardians?
Yeah.
Heck
I don't know
yeah.
why, but Forest Guardians seem like a fun thing to just sort of have around.
Forest
Very
Guardians are
into
just
that.
rad.
Mhm.
I mean, there has to be at least unicorns at some point.
Yes.
Oh God, yes, yes, please.
Heck yeah.
Okay, yeah, we have
All
to have
colors of
unicorns.
unicorns too.
I'm a fan of those.
A group of unicorns is called a rainbow.
Yeah.
I just had a thought of like maybe like a almost like unicorn with like that sort of like purple and like green sort of like sheen off of
Ooh.
it.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's nice.
Hmm.
I like it.
My brain went all of a sudden when it said rainbows of all unicorns of all colors. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
it's like yes.
I like
love
it.
Yes.
all
love
right.
it.
And then the last question before we get to characters is how are people typically governed in this world, and how do normal citizens feel about the government? So we talked about like a council of sorts, a group of folks. Are these elected officials? Are these people that are just in prominent positions? Like, oh, I am the head of the this really important manufacturer, so I help determine how much of whatever we can do or something. What are we thinking?
I think elected.
Yeah, I like
Elected
power in the
feels good to
people.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
An
and
effective representative democracy.
yeah,
One that works. Woo! But also will still have
What a
problems.
fantasy.
yeah.
What a fantasy.
I
But
know.
will
Actual
still have
effective
problems because,
democracy.
in theory, based on one of the things that we decided for a lovely trope, if villain organizations are a thing that exist and you have councils, you're like,
Yeah. You get
It's-
enough. You swayed the voter population.
it's gonna
Elected
happen.
villain officials.
Yeah.
It's
so
gonna
much.
happen.
Oh, now I'm just imagining
I'm
because all of
screaming
the
inside.
henchmen have like costumes that are like specific, and you just show up to a voting station, and it's just a line of people all in the same weird bird costumes.
Oh,
Just like all the way out the back.
Oh my
this
goodness.
is my day
Just
job.
like,
It's
oh
fine. All those silly putty people on Power Rangers, they get a vote too.
This one neighborhood, their representative is a parrot. That's just.
Audio is up too high for how funny this is.
You don't want to blast your
Try to
eardrums
hold
out.
it in.
It's good, isn't it?
So how does the typical person feel about this?
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think.
Still crying about the parrot. I'm fine. Cut the cameras. Mute me. Oh man. Okay, I got this.
Yeah.
Are we leaning like Democrat socialist or something?
I kind of like that.
I do want the elections to be, instead of winner takes all, to, popularity. No, what's that word? It's where you can choose 1, 2, or 3, and if you're the first person you don't choose, maybe the second person gets that.
Oh,
or something.
preferential voting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you choose
what I
like a
got here.
list
Yeah.
instead of just one.
I like that.
Yeah. I would like to put in preferential voting.
Okay, I like that. It sounds like the people are probably okay with this, right? Like they're like, oh yeah, it's time for our voting, and they probably get information beamed to their like hollow displays about each candidate and get nice and
most
informed.
of the villains are certainly harmless, so they're not going to actually murder.
Right.
So
They
that probably
try
takes a
to
little bit of
avoid.
the fear out of it.
Yeah. They're just gonna kind of ruin your day a little bit.
I'm going to turn off your hover shoes.
Oh no!
Oh.
I have to walk.
Oh, no.
Hover shoes just like wheelies.
Did we just
Without the
introduce
wheels.
hover shoes to this? Because
They
I'm
wanna
here
go
for that.
back to-
No,
they want to go back to the
no
old
hover
days
shoes.
when people had to walk.
No hover
Plays
shoes.
uphill.
Because the thing is, do people even need shoes?
Where
Because
we're
everything's,
going,
like,
we don't need
gassy.
shoes.
Things this world doesn't have wheels, shoes, roads.
You can have shoes, you just don't need them.
Well, okay. So what's the climate like then? Is the climate like good enough where you don't need shoes all year round? Do we want it to have like actual snow at points, or
That's rad.
actual
Ooh.
rainstorms. I'm assuming there's a water cycle of some sort.
Mhm.
How
I do like
tilted is
rainstorms.
this planet?
I, from the south of the United States, don't understand snow. But if y'all want to have snow in there,
I don't understand snow either.
I'm from the
I've seen it like
wild
once. It
north.
was
You can
rad.
walk barefoot in snow. It's fine.
Yeah.
what is this? I don't understand.
Okay, so I'm from Wisconsin, so I have enough knowledge of snow for everybody here combined. So it should be okay.
I have Massachusetts knowledge of snow, which is
There you go.
close to Canadian levels
Yeah.
of snow. So here
Yeah,
We're all there.
Sounds
Close
like
to
I'm
it.
Canadian
originally
levels of
from
snow.
the Colorado Rockies, so
There you go.
Australia has, well, look, even in snow season, I know a lot of ski places do have to supplement their actual snow with fake snow just to make it actually
oh yeah.
like fully enjoyable. So like that's the Australian
Oh,
levels. I know
wow.
it does snow in places,
Yeah.
Mhm.
but like
We have to do that too sometimes. Sometimes it depends on like if it was a real bad year and it like started really late and like just all that. Yeah.
Wait,
I-
wait. Snow resorts actually exist. They're not just like some Hollywood makeup thing. Like,
apparently
Oh, honey, they're real and they're just as obnoxious as you think they are.
I still have
Like-
very distinct memories of being a kid and seeing that it had like snowed, aka it had sleeted in the sort of semi mountains near where like I live, and it was like that was on the news. It was like, oh my god, it sleeted, y'all. That's how we know winter
Goodness.
is here. It has sleeted.
There's a thin sheen of ice on all the things.
Oh,
All
that's the
right.
worst one. I like the sheet of ice, the very least of all things.
Mhm. I agree. So I'm gonna say that seasons exist of sorts, so we could have, different types of ambiance if we wanted to.
Sure.
I'm not saying we have to, but if the mood fits us, we can do that. And it sounds like for this question about the government, everybody likes it. Would we say that the people feel like they have a say in things?
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
I like to say that.
All right. So that wraps up our world building questions. We've got kind of a malleable world here that has some sort of substance. Let's get to our character choices. Keep everything we just did in mind, because this is where it gets fun. Everybody gets to select 2 different archetypes across the 3 genres. There are 6 archetypes per genre, and you can select 2 from the same genre. You can select 1 from one genre, 1 from another genre, or so forth. You just have to select 2. And then we're going to select 1 to be your primary, which is kind of your character's main story, and 1 to be your secondary, which is going to be kind of your side story, or it's not as defining to your character. And then it's going to blend those 2 together to create 1 unique story that your character is going to be telling. So we've got a lot of options. For those at home, the fantasy genre has, I'm going to go to the archetype descriptions page just because it gives us nice examples here. So we've got the Bound, which is kind of like your typical warlock who's created a pact with a powerful entity or organization. You could have your power come from a group of folks. The Devout is somebody that's devoted to a deity or a cause or an organization, and that's where they get their power from. The Learned is somebody that's extensively studied what they know. This could be a wizard, it could be a fighter, it could be a bard. The Protector is someone that fights for what's right, protects others. That's like your typical paladin, could be a fighter, could be a cleric. The Survivor is somebody that learned out of necessity how to survive. This is like your rogue, your ranger, your bard. And then the wanderer is somebody that kind of exists on the fringes of society, wanders between civilizations, that sort of thing. It's your typical ranger and druid. For magical girls, the base 6 are modeled after the base characters from Sailor Moon. You've got the genius, which is someone that has like book smarts, right? And then that translates to their magical girl form. You've got the guardian, somebody that's always the protector, whether they're transformed or not. That's like Sailor Jupiter. The heart, this is the heart of the group, always willing to spread love and joy, even if you're a bit selfish about it. That's kind of the Sailor Venus of the group. The leader, you're kind of destined to lead this group, whether you want to or not. And it's kind of your journey figuring out how you feel about being the leader. This is the one playbook that comes with a magical companion too. So the group gets a nice magical follower that gets to say, hey, it's time to transform. Whenever you get into some business.
Please tell me it has that voice.
My God.
If somebody is the leader, I will give it any voice you want.
Goodness.
As long as I can do that.
Don't tempt us with this. Don't tempt us, Ricky Poppy.
I know.
We will do this.
Please do.
I'm just about to fully change the character I planned.
There's the mask, who's kind of like modeled after Tuxedo Mask. This is somebody that has the illusion of helping. Like, hey, I'm here. You can do it. My work is done. I'm gone.
The illusion of helping.
Yeah. It technically helps mechanically, but narratively, yeah. But you didn't do anything.
She did.
And then the spirit. The spirit's kind of like your Sailor Mars. This is somebody that has kind of a spiritual component, and ties to like a more spiritual aspect of the world. And then we get into superheroes. The Chosen is kind of like your magical girl superhero. Okay. That one is basically you get a focus that grants you the power to transform. This is kind of like your Green Lantern. She-Ra would count as this. Shazam. Iron Man is another good example of this, only that transformation is with technology. The Demigod. This is somebody that's born from a literal deity and a mortal parent. So you've got this struggle between mortality and immortality and trying to appease both lives at the same time. Also one of the powerhouses, examples would be Hercules, Percy Jackson, and an argument could be made for Superman. The Hopeful. This is kind of like your Spider-Man, Daredevil, Luke Cage. This is somebody that wasn't born with powers or abilities or superhero know-how, and had this greatness kind of thrust upon them somehow. And now they are they want to help. They want to use these powers for good. So they're the happy-go-lucky kids of the group. The Innovator. This is somebody who's invented their way into superheroing, like Tony Stark, Bruce Banner, Batman as well in some cases. The Stranded. This is somebody that's literally from another world, another time, or another dimension, or even a blend of all of those. So, like Martian Manhunter is like a Martian from Mars stuck on Earth. America Chavez, who is a person that is able to punch through dimensions and like and cross that barrier and go into a different world or something like that. Yeah, she's pretty cool. And then the Weapon. This is somebody that's been created or trained to excel at combat. This is like the Punisher, Black Widow, Green Arrow. You could probably even put like the vision on there or something like that as well. So there's a lot of options. So that's the options we have for this version of the game. In the full version, we have 10 options per genre. That pushes it up to 30, which means you can create a lot of interesting combos, but goodness, the decision paralysis can get mighty hefty if you throw a fourth genre in there too. So, what are we thinking?
So I really, really like the Stranded. For some reason, that just is super. I'm
Okay.
super drawn to that one, and I like the Stranded, the Wanderer, and what's the Learned.
Okay.
So those are archetypes that I'm really drawn to.
Yeah.
I don't. One combo that I thought was really, really cool was the Bound and the Stranded.
Ooh.
Like the pact was you had to leave your own dimension and live in this one to have power, but you're trying to thwart that and get back home. And I was like,
That
I don't
sounds
know if I want to
so
play it,
interesting.
but it's cool.
That's so awesome.
I mean, if you think you would have fun, that sounds amazing.
Right. I don't know if I have the personality for it. It's kind of like it seems kind of like edgy and dark, and I kind of don't want to play that.
It doesn't
I
have
kind
to
of want
be.
to be like fun and stupid.
You can,
Yeah.
it can be like a hopeful sort of like,
That's true.
yeah, I'm here for like a good time, not like.
Yeah, like
A long
what
time.
if
That's a fair point.
you're like, I want to be able to save people, but there's nobody here to save, and then the whatever said you can go here, but you only have power here.
Yeah.
And maybe like you do want to go back, but like, you know, it's nice being here and you're going to still keep working towards it, but
Yeah,
what's
that's
the point
true.
of being miserable the whole time?
Yeah. So you could definitely play that happy-go-lucky. That's not a problem. And if that is kind of the thought, if like getting back home is kind of a secondary objective, it would sound like the Stranded might be a secondary at that point.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Okay. So I will tentatively put that in there. Think on that while we go through other choices. And what else do we got? Who else has an idea?
So,
Do you want to go?
you can go ahead.
I was kind of tempted by the Guardian as my primary,
Ooh.
and I was kind of debating what I wanted to do as secondary. I'm not sure. Maybe the Wanderer. I'm not particularly set on it because I'm too gay to make choices.
Do you want to wait for others to make some more choices to see what your options whittle down to?
Yeah. No. Please
Okay.
take the choices away from me.
I have lists,
Please.
so like I'm also bad at choices. I have like options, so yeah.
Okay.
Right.
So JV, it sounded like you might have had an idea.
So, the two that like called to me very much was the Chosen and the Survivor. I'm just not sure which one I would put in primary and which I would put in secondary.
Okay.
They both seem like they would be good at either spot, which leads me to think that that's the decision that I am not quite sure on.
Okay, but you're pretty sure on the Survivor and the Chosen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to, while other people decide, I'm going to roll several dice to figure out which one I actually am going to do for first or second.
Okay, that sounds
When
fine.
in doubt,
Yeah.
leave it to the
Exactly.
dice.
All right.
Leave it to
Believe in the
those
heart of the dice.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Turn it over to something that is not me.
Yeah. So, Thae, how about yourself? What are you thinking?
Well, I was definitely looking at Sailor Saturn for goodness words, but Sailor
Inspiration?
Saturn type, yes, for inspiration. So far I'm thinking the weapon,
Okay.
but I'm not sure what's secondary yet.
Okay.
That's
So for those that have played previous versions of Chimera that are in the audience, I know there's one out there at the very least. We have in the wings for version 0.8. We're on 0.7 right now. The Destroyer, which literally was modeled after Sailor Saturn. So we're kind of piecing together a Sailor Saturn from existing archetypes in this version. And I think we talked about a few of these earlier this week, I think, that you could have leaned into. There was an argument to be made about the mask, which would have been interesting. You could possibly even think about the heart in a like twisty sort of way, right?
interesting. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Dang.
The spirit could also kind of work if you want to go like a more spiritual Sailor Saturn route. Because they get some pretty interesting defending. What is it? Signature move.
Okay. Where do I look for the moves of those archetypes?
So if you go to your sheet and scroll to the right on the bottom, you can go to the archetype tab. So if I were to go to the spirit, and I'll show off a little bit of Chase's art here. Chase Makes Art on Twitter. They did art for all of our playbooks. And then if you scroll down to the bottom pages, that's where all of the big moves are. And the signature move is kind of the thing that you start with if that's your primary. That's kind of your defining move. Your secondary, you don't start with the signature move, but you can advance into it. So there is a lot of interesting options. Like the spirit, you can prepare ahead of time by calling on the spiritual world. And then during the ensuing battle or conflict, you can use hold that you've stored up to help defend your friends, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it's a different. It'd be a different take on Sailor Saturn, that's for sure. I think the mask could be interesting. I mean, heck, the leader could be interesting. There's a lot of different ways that you could go with that.
Leader does come with a pet.
It's true.
Right.
Leader comes with a pet.
And Ryan has promised to do any voice you wanted.
As long as I can do it and it doesn't hurt my vocal cords, I will give that pet any voice. Okay, so while you're deciding that, Thae, Morgan, I know you have a lot of paired choices going on.
I do, but also they're getting paired off with other people, which is fine. So that's why I made options. One was the Devout and the Heart. Just because I played like at one point in time, a very Sailor Moon as like cleric. Where I think it was like the Unity cleric that was the new design from one of the I don't know what it's called. I forgot what it's called.
Okay.
But basically just hopeful and love and justice and just like, and y'all are married. Goodbye. Just stay in 30 feet each other, you'll be fine. And just exploding things with hearts and glitters and whatnot,
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So that was one idea. Another idea was using the hopeful for something with where's my list? the bound, but you know, the hopeful can be pretty much with anything, honestly. Like, you weren't given this life, but here you go.
Yep. A hopeful leader would be interesting because now you're wrestling with
It was just
two
the leadership
destinies.
was thrown on top of you. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's your powers. Oh, by the way, you're the leader. What?
Oh, that's fun, actually.
That sounds like nightmare scenario. Here, you have powers. You must now also save the world and lead group.
Yep.
Me, instantly paralyzed in fear.
Like, oh no, how did I get this position?
But that makes for good drama, right?
Yeah.
Because then you're talking about, oh, I don't know how to lead. I'm not comfortable with leading. How am I going to lead? Just saying. It's fun.
Yeah,
Cool pet.
might. But that means I have to be the leader.
I know.
Right.
I don't want to be the
problem.
leader.
Problem.
That's why I threw the pet on there. So it's a little bit of a carrot to kind of go for that, right?
Like you get fed, like.
Yeah, you get a little nice thing with it, right?
Yeah.
Mm.
I think I might go with the heart for now,
Okay.
and then I'll play real pick, and then I'll figure out a secondary.
Okay. So we've got 3 blanks to fill still. So Alyzona, what are you thinking then for a good secondary?
Oh God, yeah, because I wasn't. Sorry. Just gonna go and switch back to the choices thing because I was looking at stuff.
There's demigod would be fun. We don't have to go that route though.
I'm still kind of drawn towards the Wanderer, so I might do that.
The Guardian and the Wanderer? Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. Which one do you want as
Wandering
your primary?
Punch.
I mean, that was one of my like
Oh.
groupings. So like, no, that was the Guardian and the Wanderer was one of the ones I picked because I was like, oh, that sounds like a really cool concept. So I'm glad
Yeah.
that you're playing it because I'm excited to see how it goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one do you want
So
as
am I.
your primary for that?
I think Guardian primary.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so now we're down to Morgan and Thae.
I already said I'm going last, so.
Okay.
Okay.
That's all on you, Thae.
Oh no.
So there's 4 more transformable character types that have transformations as, you know what? Can I just posit the spirit for you? Because there's like a spookiness aspect of that
I do kind
archetype.
of like that.
And I know you like spooky.
I don't know if you can. How could you tell?
I think it may be the skull in the background. I don't know. Like,
The skull, that's my favorite thing
Yes.
in the world.
So good.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
do they have a name?
I actually have not named it. Maybe Steve. To Steve.
Steve. That's amazing. So feel free to go with what you want. But I think that might be a good fit for you.
Does sound pretty cool, actually.
And I get Sailor Saturn like vibes off of that a little bit. Weapon and spirit combo.
Ooh. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. All right. Should we lock
do
that
it.
in?
Let's do it.
All right. Do you want the weapon as your primary then?
Yes.
Awesome.
I think that'd be good.
I would like to shift mine so that it is Survivor first and Chosen second.
Oh.
That was what the dice told me to do. And I can see how that makes a bit of sense.
That's
in
awesome.
The idea that popped into my brain upon doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Morgan. Your time has come.
I know.
There's
And
a
you know,
lot of options that have been striked out, so.
I know, and that's just like, I don't know if I want to play a religious figure though with this. Like, I don't know if that's like what I'm like. It's a calling, so like,
Mhm.
so I might not do the devout because I was looking at that earlier. So
Okay.
heart. maybe the hopeful.
Ooh. I like that. That sounds like a really cool character.
For sure.
Okay.
Heck, why
that,
not?
actually.
Yeah.
All right.
Heck, why not?
Why not? Double H. So do you want the heart or the hopeful to be your primary?
I want the heart to be the primary.
Okay, perfect.
Because I'm getting very, like, Tom Holland Spider-Man sort of vibes.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
That's literally what I was just
Uh-huh.
thinking. It's like,
All
I'm
right.
here for
So
it.
now I'm going to click a button
Goodness.
and I'm going to hope it's not going to break my spreadsheet. So we'll see what happens here. Okay, so populates character sheets. And if it breaks, we just have to wait a few seconds and then I get to reload it. And I think it's going to happen because, of course, Google. Why? It's just a simple copy-paste script. Come on. So while this materializes our character sheets into our respective tabs down below, let's go ahead and where am I? How's everyone doing? How's everyone feeling so far about all this?
I'm
Very
excited.
pleased.
Very
Not
I'm
the
really
idea where I
loving
want it to go,
this.
but I'm very excited where it is going.
Mhm.
Yes.
No. I think I'm gonna have a lot of fun. I think we're all gonna have
Going
a
to
lot
be
of fun.
very interesting.
Yeah.
And I'm excited about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that exactly.
There's a lot of good
Oh,
stuff that
cool.
we have to define too. I'm really excited to get to that part as well. If our characters would work.
It did just tell me to refresh it, so there's that.
Okay, so I'm going to exit pages and reload. And it should have Steph, your character sheet is there now.
Yeah, mine's populated.
Okay, perfect. So we're gonna see what happens with the next one. It's hit or miss whether it's gonna make everything break or not. Hey, JV, you are all set. That's the way it's supposed to work. Okay. This one seems very promising. Okay, Memento, you're all set.
Cool.
Well, I'm loading.
Yep, and it might break your side too, so
2. I got 2.
excellent. All right, and then Morgan, you're all set now. And Thae, let's see.
What?
Oh, it's
Yep,
gonna
mine
work.
broke.
Okay. So if
So I'll
yours
just,
if yours
quickly go
breaks on
back
your
in.
side, you just hit exit and then reload, and then
Yeah.
it's fine. So
Okay.
we've got 3 magical girl genre character types represented, 3 fantasy character types represented, and 4 superhero types represented. That's really interesting. Although to be fair, one of the superhero types is basically magical girls.
I went with it.
It's fine. I like it. Okay, so if everybody's curious what the different character pairings look like, we've got the Guardian Wanderer for Alyzona. We've got the Survivor Chosen for JV. We've got the Bound Stranded for Memento. We've got the Heart Hopeful for Morgan. And the Weapon Spirit for Thae. So now we're going to be going through. I'm going to pick on Alyzona's sheet here for now. We're going to go through and actually start filling out the character sheets.
Nice.
So at the top of the sheet on the left-hand side, there is kind of like there's a looks session and a gender umbrella and a name alias pronoun. So you can select all that apply in the gender umbrella by clicking on one of them and then using the fill bucket to fill the background of that cell whatever color you want, as long as you can read it still.
Okay.
And then there's looks, so ambiguous, feminine, masculine, non-conforming, shifting, something else. There are like Asian, South Asian, Black, Hispanic, Latin, Indigenous, Middle Eastern, white. All sorts of options. Select any that apply. And then there are archetype looks. Every single archetype has 3 sets of alliterative descriptions that you get to choose one from each archetype. So you're going to select one pair on the left-hand side and one pair on the right-hand side. And those 4 words are going to describe your character effectively. You get to interpret what those words mean.
Nice.
And yes, every single pairing is unique. There are no repeated words across all the archetypes. So your character is guaranteed to be pretty unique here. So, start filling things out. I've already got quite a few good things going on here. Giving the audience a little bit of a taste here. And I'm going to transition us back to full scene. Hopefully everybody can hear me still.
Yeah.
So we can have a little air of mystery for the audience, because I want us to introduce our characters after this. But yeah, how's everybody doing on these ones?
Feeling quite good.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Not a name.
I know. Names are the worst.
You can do names last. You could also wait until next session or do names between sessions. So once you get to know your character more,
I'm just gonna go with the one I always use.
Or I ask people to throw me a letter, and I'm like, all right, cool. I'll figure something out with this letter.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, I've had pretty good results. So,
oh, there you go.
It hasn't been bad.
Could always just poke my way through Fantasy Name Generator, which just brings such amazingly wild options. I love going to Fantasy Name Generator, even just to kill time for a while.
Absolutely. So once we get our looks kind of locked in, you don't have to fully fill it out yet. We can get a little bit of that kind of off mic. That's fine. But in the interest of time, we can go to our attitudes. So attitudes are kind of the statistics, or not the statistics, the stats of this game, the stuff that we use to roll with. So there's logical, optimistic, valiant, energetic, and relaxed. And all of these attitudes basically are how you kind of feel about yourself. So how logical do you feel? How optimistic do you feel? That sort of stuff. And this is kind of your general base point. These don't totally fluctuate in game. They can get upgraded. They can get conditions. If you get a condition, that basically gives you a disadvantage on those different attitudes. But in traditional Powered by the Apocalypse, you would normally be assigning like -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, or whatever to all of these. Chimera works differently. Chimera uses a mixed dice system that we're calling effectively Chimera PBTA for now, where you utilize D4s through D10s throughout play, and you basically mix 2 of those together depending on where your attitudes are at. And some effects will actually step up a die size. So you'll just go to the next die size. So if you're at a D6 and it steps up, you would just grab a D8 instead. And some effects will step down your die size. So a D6 would go down to a D4. So we have a dice pool to start with. Everybody starts with 2 4-sided dice, 6 6-sided dice, and 2 8-sided dice. You get to pair up dice in each of your attitudes. So on your character sheets, there are a dice pool area. And if people at home want to see this, I can go back to that view. That's not a problem. There is a dice pool setup where you can just select whatever one you want and then change an attitude to that die size. There are 2 boxes per attitude, and you can put anything you want in there, but you just gotta distribute all of these wherever you see fit. The lowest pairing you can have is a D4 plus a D6. So you can roll between 2 and 10. That's the range that you have with that roll. You can't do 2D4 as a base attitude because when you get disadvantage, you have to be able to step a dice down. And when you roll 2D4, the highest you can roll is a D8. And there's no additional bonuses or subtractions in this game aside from like a very few like assist moves and stuff. So you're rolling straight. You roll the 2 dice, you add them together, and that's your result. So like a D8 plus a D10, that's the highest you can go. And that means you're very confident in that attitude. So if you think your character's really logical, you can kind of push your dice up higher. If you think your character's like not very optimistic, you can go to the lower end of the pairings. So just start putting dice or thinking about it in there. We can do this off mics as well. This is kind of a weird system to wrap your minds around at first. I know this because it took me a little bit to wrap my mind around it the first time as well. But I guarantee once you get the feel of it, it's going to become kind of second nature as we play. Okay? Once you assign those dice, so you're going to have 10 dice to assign. Over on the right-hand side, there is the archetype attitude adjustments. This has a 3-step process that you need to do to adjust your attitudes. You're going to select one from each pair, the left side or the right side. And each of the ones that you select, you go back to your attitudes and step up one of the 2 dice to the next level. So if you chose a D6 and a D8, and you chose I'm going to pick on Thae's sheet here because she hasn't filled anything out yet. So say I did optimistic as a D6 and a D8. That was my base level. And on Thae's spirit, I can choose between optimistic or relaxed as one of my pairings, and I choose optimistic. Now I can choose one of those 2 dice to step up. I could step up the D8 to a D10. Now my optimistic roll is a D6 plus a D10, right? Or I could go and step up the D6 to a D8. They both have the same range between 2 and 16, but the curves are different, just slightly, just enough to be fun, right? So it's really up to you which way you want to go. Mathematically, Amber could probably break your brain in terms of explaining how it works, because it's pretty cool. Like every dice size that you step up is like a +1. Every dice size that you step down is like a -1. That's kind of how it works mathematically. Once you step up all your dice, then you're going to select any die amongst your 10 dice that you have and step that up, as long as it doesn't break the rules of a maximum of a D8 and a D10 together.
Okay, so max is 18.
Yes, unless you have advantage, then you can roll 2d10. And the max is 20. So you can technically roll a nat 20 in this game with 2 dice if you wanted to.
Cool.
And it's probably worth mentioning, we have the same success bands as traditional Powered by the Apocalypse. So 6- is a miss. 7 through 9 is a partial success, so you get what you want, but with kind of a cost. And then a 10+ is a full success. That means you really get what you want.
Nice.
But some moves have 13+ as well. So if you get lucky 13 or higher, then you get an additional bonus on top of that. So it's not every move, but some moves have that nice little a bit of, I get to roll these awesome dice, and I just destroyed my 10 plus. So now I get something cool on top of it. So I'm going to reset Thae's sheet back to where it was when I found it. Sorry, and thank you, Thae, for letting me hijack your sheet.
No problem.
So that's all mechanics, right? That kind of defines your character a bit, and we don't have to go through that nitty-gritty detail right now in the interest of time. But the next thing that we need to do is pick abilities. This is the super fun part, where you get to choose abilities based on what it says in the box that's checked. So it says start with the following. At character creation, you get both sides from your primary and secondary. Just follow the prompts there, and it'll tell you exactly what you get to select. And all of these ability names are 100% open to interpretation. So I see melee weapons as one of the weapons selections. That could be traditional, like regular swords and, whatever. Or it could be magic swords. It could be laser swords for the sake of copyright. It could be it could be pretty much anything that you want, as long as you can interpret that. It could be melee weapons that you literally materialize from your hands or something. It can get weird, but I'm just saying it's totally open to interpretation. These could be superpowers. They could be magic based. They could be just technology based, or anything in between. This allows you to kind of have that sort of creative attachment to how you envision your character kind of functioning within the game. It's all narrative. The abilities technically don't matter mechanically, because whether or not you are rushing to punch the villain in the jaw or attacking a battalion of robot soldiers with a pair of laser swords, you're probably going to roll the same thing, right? It's all narrative. The consequences are just what happens, and the consequences are narrative too. So you've got choices, lots and lots and lots of choices. You can think on them for a bit. You can select the ones that you think sound nice right here. Or you can wait until we're off mics and select what you want, because we're going to be introducing all these characters next session, I think. The last thing that you need to do is select your moves. So if you scroll down to the bottom pages, on the left-hand side is going to be your primary again, and the right-hand side is your secondary. At the top, there is a little blurb that says what you get. So most of them are going to say start with your signature move and default moves, if any, and then select 2 from additional moves at the character creation. That's usually the primaries. And the secondaries are usually you get your default moves, if any, and then select 1 from additional moves at character creation. There's a few exceptions here and there, but this allows you to kind of have more primary moves to pull from, because you're more defined by your primary archetype. And your secondary archetype is kind of like an auxiliary part of yourself. There's less moves to pull from off the bat. That's not to say you can't advance into more secondary moves. You absolutely can. In fact, the basic advancements, the first one you can unlock if you choose is your secondary moves, your secondary's signature move, which you don't start off with. So there's a lot of options there. And I guess For those that don't know, Chimera is a fail-forward system. So if you roll a 6-, you get an experience point. And every 5 experience points, you level up. And when you level up, you get to choose an advancement. It's as simple as that. There are some moves that provide experience to other players, but it'll say it when it says it. So other than I rolled a 6-, you get an XP. It'll say when you get an XP. Okay. and JV's got a house party going on over there apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Children are awake.
I know.
Ew.
Okay. So that's the steps of character creation. We're going to leave like backstory questions for next time. I'm going to give you all a little bit of homework. Okay.
Oh no.
Homework.
I know.
Why?
I know I didn't say there was going to be homework ahead of time, but this is the one time I'm going to ask you to please do some homework, because I want you to think about the backstory of your characters a bit. I want you to know the world that we have, that we've created together, and figure out your character's backstory kind of from there. I want you to have like a good connection to these characters, because these are going to be your children for the next however many sessions, and I want it to be a fun experience for you all. Plus the last thing I want is for you to be deer in headlights next session saying, I didn't think of a backstory, I'm sorry. Let me take a few moments.
Mm-hmm.
Although
Why are you
it
calling
can be
me out
fun.
like this?
You could have added me, damn.
I know, right?
So what we'll do is we'll get all of that taken care of off mics, all of the dice sizes, all of
Yes,
the
please.
looks, our names, pronouns, descriptions, all that fun stuff. And then once the backstory questions are done, next session we're going to go over those backstory questions with the answers. Once that's done, then we're going to get into relationships. Relationships are where we connect our characters together. Since we have 5 players and there are 2 relationship questions per archetype, it kind of works out perfectly to do 1 player character per question. So as we're going to go over backstory next time, and we may talk about this a little bit in the Discord together, as we go over our backstories, think about what sort of relationships you want to hook your characters to. We've got the archetype pairings. We got kind of a nebulous concept of what each person kind of was thinking when they chose their character archetypes. So think about who you might want to pair up with these. And every single archetype has different relationship questions that'll make a really interesting web, I think. Once we are done with relationships, there is one final step to character creation. It is the team question. The team question, every primary archetype that we have here has a team question attached to it. If anybody's familiar with masks, they have kind of a team question of when the team first came together, so on and so forth. And in masks, you always start with the question from the Boel archetype, the Boel playbook, that even if it's not included in your session, you ask the Boel question first, and then you go through the other character types. In this game, we start with a team question seed from one of the 3 genres. This will flavor every single team question. This is like the base question. Do we want to go more fantasy route? Do we want to go a more magical girl route or a more superhero route? And this will kind of like allow us to answer those team questions together as a group, and kind of flesh out a little bit more of this world. After that's done, we say why we care about the team, and then we're done. And then that's character creation. We built a world. We'll have built characters, and then we can start telling a story.
Heck yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Cool.
So I'm going to hop over to chat, see what we have here. So yeah, we've got every other Friday, we're going to be getting together. We're going to be playing a game. Next Friday is going to be the end of our session 0 session. It's going to be 0.5, we can call it. But I don't think that's going to take 2 hours, especially if we do our homework. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Once we are done, we'll introduce our characters to the audience and ourselves, and then we'll set up some scene, and we'll get started. And then I can start planning an adventure, which I'm very excited to get to. So, does anyone have any questions before we get to the wrapping up portion of the show?
Well, I did until I did the wiggly thing, and then I forgot immediately. Okay. My brain says I can hold on to a thought, or you can move. You can't do both.
Yeah, right.
Pick one.
Okay.
That's perfectly fine.
I have a slight question regarding the ancestry question.
Yeah.
More because that is the only one of the top ones that I have not currently filled out.
That's
I didn't have ideas or anything. It's fine.
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about the types of individuals that inhabit this world. So there's a mixture of Star Trek-like, extras, I guess you could call them. And there's also fantastical, intelligent creatures. So your ancestry is basically kind of a descriptive word of kind of what you think you kind of are you like a more fantastical creature that has a certain type of name? Are you a dragon, or maybe like a dragonborn? You could also be like an elf. You could be
right. Okay.
Klingon if you wanted to go the copyrighted route.
Okay.
There's
Fair
a lot of
enough.
different options. If you just want to have a description in there, you could have a small description. That's fine too. And I think maybe some homework for next time is we can think of a name of this world as a group. And maybe a name for our city as well. Because I'm assuming that we're all in the same city.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Or at
Probably
least
would
I
help
thought
us
so.
with the crime fighting and the,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Truth.
Awesome. Okay. So, I think that's it for this session then. We've got a very good start on our characters. I'm loving the world that we're putting together. Just absolutely. There's a lot of ways that things could go, and I'm really excited to see what happens to this utopia that we've crafted. Because something's going to happen. Yeah. Very cool. Well, I guess we can probably wrap things up for the time being, right?
Right.
Probably.
Okay. So thanks everybody for joining us. This has been a lot of fun.
Yes.
I'm glad we got over the hurdle of me not being able to be heard at all for the first few minutes in one of the scenes, but we got over that. I'm gonna work on trying to get closed captioning working for everybody. Right now, it's working for everybody else except me, because my solution that I tested thoroughly before doubled everybody's audio for some reason, and I don't know why. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure something out. It's fine. But if you want to talk with us in between streams, if you want to chat with us, we do have a Discord. You can go to discord.chimera.games, and that will get you right into our Discord. We've got a little channel in there for general chat. There's a channel for spoiler chat. If you want to talk about spoilery things at all, you can go in there. And then there's some other stuff related to Chimera itself. And you can introduce yourself there. You can talk about what mythological creature you love the most. For me, it's a chimera for some reason. Yep. Chimera.discord.games. Exactly like that. I actually have, if I would think about it, where is my Nightbot tab? I can go and say, hey, Chimera, there's some information for you.
Wow.
So yeah, check it out. And then there's also the name of this stream, A Tale of Twinkle and Awe, a blend of fantasy, magical girl, and superhero genres, which I am very excited to dive into. So I've been your genre moderator, GM for short. I'm very creative when it came to that acronym. Ryan Boelter. You can find me online at Lord Neptune on Twitter. I think I'm also Lord Neptune on Instagram, which I don't use there very much. I'm on, you can go to my website at lordneptune.com. I'm also lordneptune.itch.io if you want to look at my other games. There's a slight theme going on there. And I'll give you one guess which Neptune I'm referring to. And it's not the Roman god. So there you go. That's me. Let's go in clockwise order again as usual. JV.
If you would like to hear my ramblings about very odd things, yeah, you can follow me on Twitter, which is most likely where I'm going to do that, which is at Red Black, black spelled BLAQUE, because it's fancy and because I'm extra. Red, black, and golden is spelled exactly as you would imagine it is. And that's what I'm at on Instagram. And my entire full name, jvhamptonvansant.com, is where people could hear my voiceover demos should they want to hear that. There's no particular reason to do so, but if you would like to, it's there. As well as all of the other projects that I've been in, including one that involves superheroes, which I may, if you enjoy those kinds of things, check that one out. It's very fun and very gay.
All right, let's go to Thae.
All right, so Thae, pronoun she and her. You can find me at Thae and Twilight on here on Twitch and on Twitter, and my Ko-Fi is there, Ko-Fi Thaelin. And yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I like the spooky games that you play on your Twitch channel a lot. There was one that I think it was like Hollow Knight. It was like super adorable. But super
Oh my
spooky.
god.
Hollow
My
Knight?
emotes are based off of Hollow Knight. It's
So
one of my
good.
favorites.
It's so good.
It's so it's frustrating, but I love it so much.
I keep getting stuck in the same spot in that game, and it's driving me insane. But yes,
God, right. No, I know those
It's a toughie.
feels. Yeah.
It's an aesthetic.
Oh, gracious.
Absolutely.
Yep, for sure.
All right.
That's my aesthetic, Hollow Knight.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to Morgan.
Hello, I'm Morgan. You can find me on all the socials because I've claimed it on all the socials at Serena Bezos. That's SIRENABESOS. You can find my podcast work with the Roleplay Network on Red Death and Powered by the Players. You can see me live stream this Sunday with actual play playing Apocalypse Keys with Sean Nittner, Jammy, and Jen Martin. You can see me on Huetopia TV every other Wednesdays with Quest with the Kahania game. I do other stuff. It's easier for you just follow me so I don't have to remember it. Okay, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really excited about this.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to Memento.
You can follow me on Memento Mori Vulgaris on Instagram, and that's just my personal page. I'll be announcing when we stream. And then Memento Mori Rara is my art page where you can watch me struggle with digital art. This is not fun.
It's fine. All right, and Alyzona.
You can technically I have a Twitter, Alyzona Quartz. I don't do very much. I mostly just have it so I can like stalk cooler people. Yeah. But yeah, I mean you technically could follow me there. It will be very boring, but I mean you'll get updates when I retweet the stream.
Yeah, there you go.
Yay, there you go.
Awesome. And you can find out more about Chimera at Chimera RPG on Twitter. You can also go to chimera.games. That's our website. And if you're interested, if you liked what you heard here, definitely go over to the Huetopia channel and check out the video on demand for Ammer's stream with some remarkable players as well. They are doing a fantasy superhero blend, and their stream title is Cape and Blade. So we've got links to that as well somewhere. I don't know if I put it in the Chimera thing. I'll just pop that in there. You can get to it from our website too. You could also go to capeandblade.chimera.games to get to the Huetopia channel. Let's see, there's probably something else that I'm forgetting, but I think that's a lot of information for everybody. So tune in next time when we are going to finish our characters, tie up the wonderful details of our world, and have a lot of fun trying to figure out what sort of fun story we're actually going to be perusing through for your enjoyment. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. You can stick around to chat a little bit. I'm going to put us on to an exit scene that I so dutifully put together. Whether it works or not, we shall see. But we will absolutely see you next time. Thanks.
Bye.
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 Bye.